Welcome to today's deep dive. We're taking a closer look at TBO Tek Ltd. They're a global travel distribution platform, kind of like a massive online marketplace where travel agents can book all sorts of travel for their clients. We've got their latest press release, the investor presentation, and even the full financial report, all about their Q2 performance for fiscal year 25. And we want to help you understand what's driving their growth or maybe any hiccups they might have had and see where TBO Tek Ltd. might be headed.
I think it's really fascinating. You know, TBO Tek Ltd, they're not just riding the post-pandemic travel wave, they're actively out there shaping it.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see that they're seeing some serious success too. Let's talk about some numbers. Their gross transaction value, or as they call IF GTV, basically the total value of all the travel bookings made through their platform. It hit 7,937 crore. That's a 24% jump compared to the same time last year.
Yeah, that's huge. To put that into perspective, it's like every single person in a country the size of Belgium booked a trip through TBO Tek Ltd this quarter. Just really shows you how much they're growing.
And their revenue is soaring too, up 28% year over year. But here's where it gets interesting. The hotel segment is their star performer, making up 59% of their GTV.
Yeah, it makes sense. They've been so focused on expanding what they offer in the hotel segment, and it's definitely paying off, especially, with business and leisure travel kind of becoming one thing these days.
Right, we're seeing so much leisure travel, people extending their work trips for some vacation, and it looks like TBO Tek Ltd. Is taking advantage of that.
Absolutely. What's really impressive is that it's not just limited to India. Both their domestic and international operations are growing. They're truly becoming a global player.
It's important to remember as we go through all these numbers, we're not just looking at statistics. These numbers represent people travel agents and travelers, connecting booking trips, experiencing the world.
Exactly. Real people making travel dreams happen. They saw a 9% increase in active travel agents using their platform, and a 6% rise in active bookers year over year. It's people all over the world using TBO Tek Ltd.
So they're growing, they're expanding.
Yeah.
But what are they doing to make booking even easier for travel agents and their clients?
Well, they have this next generation booking engine. It's called HNext. It's all about streamlining the process, making booking faster and easier.
Yeah. I was looking at the investor presentation, and it looks really impressive. They have features like one-click inventory discovery, instant filters. You can compare up to 5 hotels side by side.
Oh, yeah, it's like giving travel agents a superpower.
And speaking of superpowers, we have to talk about AI. TBO Tek Ltd. is really going all in with artificial intelligence to improve their pricing and customer support.
That's right. They're not just dipping their toes in.
They dove right in head first. For pricing, they're using AI-driven dynamic pricing, so they can offer competitive and personalized prices for each customer.
It's a far cry from those old one-size-fits-all pricing models.
And they're even testing an AI voice bot for customer support, answering questions, troubleshooting issues, saving everyone time. It's a win-win.
It really is. Now, remember when they acquired Jump Online last year? Well, that's already proving to be a good decision. Jump Online's operations boosted TBO Tek Ltd.'s GTV by 8.5% this quarter and added 7.6% to their revenue.
And integration is happening faster than expected. Really says something about how well these two companies work together.
Yeah, it's like they fit right in. But we do have to address the elephant in the room. There's an ongoing ED investigation into TBO Tek Ltd. For alleged violations of foreign exchange regulations.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sensitive topic, so we'll stick to the facts. We know that TBO Tek Ltd. Is cooperating fully. They filed a compounding application, and we're waiting to see what happens.
Exactly. We'll just have to wait and see.
On a brighter note, TBO Tek Ltd. Has some new faces on their board of directors. Shantanu Rastogi from General Atlantic, and Akshat Verma, their own CTO.
Yeah, they're bringing a lot of experience to the table at a really important time for the travel industry.
So it sounds like they're putting together a dream team. Are you ready to dive into their financials and see what they reveal about TBO Tek Ltd.'s financial health?
Absolutely. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at their financials. When you look at their consolidated results for Q2, it's clear that their strategies are really working.
So what stands out to you?
Well, their revenue from operations hit €50.7 crore. And their gross profit, the profit after deducting the costs of providing their services, jumped up to 306.1 crore. That's a 35% increase year over year.
Wow, that's impressive. Shows they're managing costs well.
Exactly. If we look at the revenue and gross profit by product, we can see some interesting stuff.
Like what?
Well, the hotel segment we were talking about, That contributed 357.1 crore to their total revenue.
So almost 80% of their revenue is from hotels.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at gross profit, it's even more clear. The hotel and ancillary segment made 258.6 crore. That's where they're seeing those strong margins.
It definitely seems like focusing on hotels was the right move.
Absolutely. They're riding that bleisure wave. Now, another important thing to look at is their adjusted EBITDA. It came in at 89.6 crore.
For those of us who aren't financial experts, can you explain what EBITDA is?
Sure. EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It gives us a better idea of their operating profitability by taking away things like debt financing.
So it shows how well the core business is doing.
Exactly. And with an adjusted EBITDA margin of 19.9%, TBO Tek Ltd is doing really well. It shows they're in good financial shape.
Makes sense. You mentioned their consolidated balance sheet. What can we learn from that?
The balance sheet is like a snapshot of their financial health. As of September 30, 2024, it shows us their assets, liabilities, and equity.
What should we be paying attention to?
One thing that's interesting is their cash position. They have 1,072 crore in cash and cash equivalents.
Wow, that's a lot. What does that tell us?
It means they have a solid foundation, they have the resources to invest in future growth, they have a lot of flexibility.
That's a good place to be. Anything else interesting on the balance sheet?
Well, they have 3,770.3 crore in trade receivables.
Trade receivable.
Yeah, that's the money owed to TBO Tek Ltd by their customers, mostly travel agents, for bookings they've made.
So like IOUs.
Exactly. And on the other side, they have trade payables, which are much higher at 40,745.7 crore.
That seems like a lot.
It is, but that's normal for a company like TBO Tek Ltd.
Why is that?
Well, they act as a middleman, connecting agents and suppliers, so they're managing a lot of transactions. Their payables will naturally be high.
That makes sense. So overall, what does their balance sheet tell us?
It shows that they're financially stable and well-positioned to keep growing. They have strong cash reserves, and while their payables are high, it's not unusual for their business.
Okay, so we've looked at their financials,
Yeah.
their profitability,
Yeah.
and their balance sheet. What's next?
Now we need to look at their key performance indicators, their KPIs.
KPIs.
Yes, these are specific metrics that tell us how the company is performing across different parts of the business.
Sounds interesting. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's like KPIs. What are we looking at here?
Well, let's start with their monthly transacting buyers.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way to see how many people are actually using their platform to make bookings.
Makes sense. So how are they doing?
In Q2, they averaged 28,402 buyers every month. That's a 6% increase from last year.
So more travel agents are using their platform. Is that coming from India or their international markets?
Both, actually. They're seeing growth all over. It really shows you how global they're becoming.
That's impressive. What about their GTD? I know we saw the total number, but how does it break down between India and international?
That's a great question. Their GTV from India was 3,556.7 crore.
So a big part of their business is still in India.
Yeah, but their international market brought in 4,356.7 crore.
Wow. So even bigger than their Indian market.
Exactly. They're a global player. Now, if we look at GTV by product, the airline segment brought in 3,233.7 crore.
So airlines are still important to them.
Yeah, but like we've been talking about, hotels are where it's at. That segment made 4,703.7 crore.
Their focus on hotels is really paying off.
It is. One more KPI to look at is their take rate. It's the percentage of revenue they make from each transaction.
So how much they're making from each booking.
That's right. For airlines, it's 2.6%.
So for every euro spent on airline tickets, they make 2.6.
Exactly. But for hotels, it's much higher at 7.6%.
Well, hotels usually have higher margins than airlines.
Right. And that difference in take rate is a big reason why their overall financials are so strong.
Seems like hotels are the golden goose for TBO Tek Ltd.
You could say that. So that's TBO Tek Ltd's Q2 FY25 in a nutshell.
It's been really interesting to see how much they've grown and all the smart moves they're making. Especially with AI, they're definitely a company to watch.
I agree. They're changing the way we travel.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into TBO Tek Ltd. We hope you learned something new today.
And that you're a little more familiar with the travel industry.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring the world around you.